Hey guys, so today I'm going to be filming a video all about starting university. So as some of you may know, I am going to university in, it must be about 3 weeks now, and I've been on a gap year for the past year. So I am going a year later than usually do in the UK. So in the UK you usually go when you're 18, but I'll be going when I'm 19 because I took a year out. So I've got asked you guys for some questions on Curious Cat and on Twitter. So the first question that I got is, how do you decide what course to study? So as some of you may know, I'm going to be studying English literature and philosophy. I've never done philosophy before. I didn't study it at A level, but I did do English literature at A level. And actually, for the longest time, when I was first looking at applying for UCAS and I was writing my personal statement, I was applying for a completely different course. I thought I wanted to do geography. Geography had been my favourite subject in A level, well, definitely in AS, and that was the one I was set on. I wanted to do environmental science. I wanted to go into geography in the future, and I was all set to do that. I was looking at universities for that. I was looking at work experience to do, and I had my heart set on doing geography. So then I took over summer before we had to submit our UCAS applications, and I just had a complete change of heart. I decided I did not want to do geography anymore. I wanted to do English, and I don't really know why. I can't really remember why I changed, but English then became my favourite subject. I think it was because I was doing geography and I just didn't enjoy it that much as I did at GCSE. At GCSE it was my favourite subject. Beginning of AS it was my favourite subject, and then suddenly I just realised I wanted to do English. I really was into writing and reading books and stuff, and I had a more planned out career path of what I wanted to do with English in the future. However, I didn't really like the idea of doing English by itself. I don't know why. Like, I know so many people that are doing English by itself and really enjoy it, but it didn't appeal to me. I wanted to do a bit of variety, so I was looking into what things I could do with it, and at this point we were studying poetry that kind of had philosophical connotations behind it, and I was looking into philosophy, and it was something that really interested me, and I've always been quite interested in kind of the bigger picture and finding out about how people think about like the world and how we're created, etc, etc, but not necessarily from the science side. I didn't want to go down the science route, so I looked into philosophy and how philosophy related to English. That was something that really inspired me as well, and I was really interested in, and I just decided I'm gonna apply for this. Luckily, most philosophy courses you don't have to have any prior knowledge of, so I went along to a few open days. I went to some sample philosophy lectures, and it just really interested me. And I talked to the lecturers and the people there, and they said you don't have to have any prior knowledge of it, because they basically teach it from scratch, and each course at each university is different. So you've got to look at what kind of philosophy they cover, and that is obviously the one that interests you most. You will choose that one. Obviously, after I applied, I started looking into it more, and I've been doing more research and getting lots of books and looking into it, and even though I don't have kind of the A-level knowledge behind, I do have now quite a big understanding of it, which then I can expand. So the next question I've got is, I have some great vegan pals here, but I'm scared about going to university and not finding any other good vegan friends and having people not take me seriously again. I don't know what to do. So this was one of my concerns when I got my place at uni and when I started thinking about uni and the vegan aspect of it. However, I quickly found out that there are so many vegans at university, and even though we don't have a vegetarian or vegan society at the uni that I'm going to, we have a group chat. So on the freshers page, when everyone gets their acceptance from the uni, so I got mine last year, but this year when everyone obviously was getting theirs because they've come from year 13, I got into the English group chat and the philosophy group chat and then my flat group chat, and from the English group chat I found some vegans that were also doing it, and also in the philosophy group chat, and then on the page someone actually made a post saying, is anyone thinking of starting a vegan society or a vegetarian society? So I was like, yes, yeah, that's something I really want to do. So I got added to the group chat, and now there's, I don't know how many of us, there's about 30, maybe a bit more people in it, that we've all been discussing. We've all been talking about veganism together, and also there are some vegetarians in there that are wanting to go vegan. and so we have been talking about setting up a society and doing some events and bake sales and like cooking each other meals and that kind of thing, and luckily the city that I'm going to, which is Bath, is really good for vegan food as well, so don't be worried about not finding any friends, because I'm sure you will at your uni. Check if there's a vegan or vegetarian society, get talking to people on group chats, in the Facebook pages, and see if you can find any other vegans there. Get talking to people on Twitter. I've had quite a lot of people message me on Twitter saying, I go to that uni and I'm vegan as well, which is really nice. And once you get there, just kind of talk to people in your lectures about your interests, and I'm sure you're going to find people with similar beliefs. And don't be worried about people not taking you seriously, because it is not like high school. Hopefully people are more mature now, and there are going to be so many people at your uni. So the next question that I got is what I brushed on before, so how did you decide what you wanted to do? But mainly, how did you decide you wanted to go to uni, and did you ever feel like dropping out in A2? I always knew that I wanted to go to university, I think, because I do actually really enjoy studying and learning. I knew that I didn't want to go straight after A-levels, hence why I took a gap year. I talked more about that in a video that me and my friend Beth, her YouTube name is The King Beth, and I'll link that down below. We did a video about going straight to uni versus taking a gap year, so I will link that down below once she has uploaded it. I talked a lot more about that over there if you want to go check that out. But how did I decide I wanted to go? I kind of always knew. I knew that I didn't want to go straight away, which is why I took a gap year, so I had some time to figure out if it really was the thing I wanted to do, if it's the course I wanted to do. And when I came back, I decided it definitely is. I'm really inspired now to go and do it, and I can't wait to just get back and like study again. Did I ever feel like dropping out on A2? Yes and no. I knew that I wouldn't, because I knew that the path I wanted to do would not benefit me if I dropped out, and I did enjoy my studies, but obviously you're going to get to the point where maybe you don't enjoy one subject as much, or the workload's getting really hard and you are considering it. Really think about it. Go and talk to people at your like professionals and teachers at your school about it. They will give you extra help. I knew that I was doing French at AS and I hated it and I dropped it, but then at A2 I was also doing biology, which I hated, and I wanted to drop it so much, but it was too late in the year. Obviously I couldn't change it or anything. But just talk to your teachers, talk to your friends in your lessons, and get some extra support if you need it. Don't be afraid of going to ask for help from people. And if you are seriously considering it, then you could talk to your teachers about it and they will give you support and guidance on what to do instead. But just remember, you don't have to go to university if you don't want to. There are so many other things you can do, so many other different paths you can take. You can go into work, you can do it into other forms of education, and uni isn't the be all and end all. But if you do want to go, then obviously explore your options as well. It's up to you completely. So the next question I've got is how to do a gap year if you're struggling with money. And I also always get questions like, how did you afford to take your gap year? How do you save up, etc, etc. I knew that I wanted to take a gap year for a very long time. So I would say before I went into sixth form, from like when I first started considering university and thinking about the future after school, I knew that I wanted to take a gap year. So I started saving up. I worked over summer, I worked over Christmas, the year before, like the year of year 13, so I was basically working like 11-hour shifts, like 4 or 5 times a week, and I saved all that money, and then I worked, so I finished my exams in June, and then I went on my gap year at the end of September, so I worked over summer to get as much money as I could. I saved up, my birthday's in March, so I saved up birthday money from then, and I got some money from getting into uni from relatives, so I basically saved up everything that I could, the 2 jobs that I worked as well. I just basically saved up as much as I could. I used websites that found the cheapest deals, so I booked my flights and stuff in advance when it was cheaper. I used websites like Skyscanner, which analyzes all the different flight prices and chooses the best ones for you depending on the dates. I was quite flexible with my dates at first. I also stayed with relatives when I was in Australia, so that saved money on accommodation and also some food bills. and flying around Australia is actually quite inexpensive if you book in advance. So I think most of my flights, internal flights in Australia, were only about $40, which is like £20, so that is a cheaper way obviously than if I'd got a train or driven or anything. You just have to kind of budget. I made a list of everything I ate, everything I spent while I was there. Also, obviously, if you cannot get a job or something to save up money, you can do gap years where you go and work, so you earn money as you're over there. I know quite a few people that have been doing that, have gone and done that. So for example, in you can go to places in Europe where you do like fruit picking and stuff, and you stay on like organic farms, and you get your accommodation and your food for free in exchange for the work you do during the day. So all you then would have to pay is kind of travel costs and then food on the weekends if you're like going out and exploring. But that's a really good way to do it. And also, if you go to somewhere like Australia, you can do so many things where you work. You can just get a work visa and you can work in so many places. I know people that are in Australia that are working in bars and at like nature reserves and restaurants. There are so many things you can do over there. And then obviously you just need to pay for your flights and any activities you want to do when obviously you're not working. But you will obviously be paid for working, so you're going to have more money, you're going to be making money while you're over there. You can do things like Camp America. I have a friend that went over to do Camp America, and you get pocket money they call it, so they kind of pay you for your work, but you go over and teach skills, and that's not too expensive because your accommodation and everything is included in the price, and you just kind of pay for your flights, and then they give you money towards it. Okay, and something that I've got a lot of questions about is budgeting at uni. So I've got a question here saying, I'm going to uni next September and I'm worried about budgeting because my student finance will be peanuts. Do you have any tips? And then another question saying, I'm so scared for uni, like the money saving aspect. I'm scared I'm going to spend all my money in a week because I'm not good at saving. Any tips? I obviously cannot comment much on that because I have not been yet, so I don't really know how well I'm gonna do at budgeting or what I'm gonna spend stuff on, but I am planning on doing a whole uni series where I show you cheap meal ideas, grocery food hauls, talk more about budgeting in that kind of sense, so look out for that. But as someone that is in the that is planning for uni at the moment, I sympathise with the person whose student finance is small, because I think my accommodation is about 7,000 for the year in pounds, and then my student finance is about 4,000, so I need to pay the extra 3,000 for accommodation, and then obviously the food and living costs and social life costs, etc. So I have been working since I got back from travelling just before Christmas, and I've been working since January, or since February really, and then I quit my job in August, so that was a good like 6 months of full-time work where I did work 9 to 5 every day. So I have money saved up from then, and I did use some of that money to pay back my parents because some of my long-haul flights I didn't have enough money before I went travelling, so I kind of took out a loan from my parents because they knew that I was going to get a job as soon as I came back. So I'm paying off those flights, and then I've been saving up for uni as well. So I have some money saved up which will go towards my accommodation, extra costs, but obviously I'm gonna realise now that I need some more, so I'm gonna be working for the next few weeks before I go. And I think the key is just to see how it goes in the first 2 weeks, and then kind of work out the comfortable level that you are with spending. So I've spoken to a lot of my friends that have been at uni last year, and the amount they spend on food varies dramatically, so I think you've really got to find what you can survive on, because for the large majority of people, they will have never done their own shopping, like food shopping before, because usually their parents would do it, or the people that you live with at home. I'm quite lucky in the fact that when I went on my gap year I had to budget myself for 2 months, so I am quite comfortable with budgeting. I do buy my own groceries sometimes, and I think I'm quite excited really to budget my money and see what I can get with it and how much I'm going to dedicate to each thing. So I will keep you updated on how I do with that, but I think you just have to kind of see how it goes. And also, if you can, maybe look into a job at uni. I'm definitely applying to as many jobs as I can, to see if I can get some extra money for food and stuff in the week. So yeah, explore your options. Maybe work over the summer, see if you can find a summer job, or find some other things that you can do that can get you money. If you've got a skill, monetize that, sell it. If you do art, then maybe set up a business or something. But I will keep you updated on how I budget in the future when I'm actually at uni and have experience with budgeting. And also, quite exciting news, I am considering bringing out an ebook. So I want to kind of put together some of my own recipes and meal plans and food, like shopping lists and stuff, all based around students. So it will be affordable and easy and like 15-minute meals kind of thing, and tips on how to go vegan at uni and stuff like that. So if you would be interested, then please let me know down below in the comments or over on any of my social media sites. And if you have any recommendations or anything that you want to see in something like that, then please do let me know. And I hope you have enjoyed this video so far and you're excited for the rest of the videos in my uni series, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!